Hello there and good evening. It's time again that we meet on Know Your Health. My name is Sylvia Nyongesa, and as usual, you know, this is where we discuss about the issues that surround your health, and sometimes we go even to diet and all that. And we all know that this month, of course, the month of August is usually the first week of the month of August is World Breastfeeding Week, but in Kenya we do that on July this year. Of course, because of elections, we don't want to interfere with that. Now we are doing it the first week of July, the World Breastfeeding Week, and it started. It ran from the 1st of July to around the 7th. But breastfeeding is a topic that should be talked about all through the year. It doesn't have to be about a week or a date. And therefore, we are here to know more about breastfeeding. Last week, we had a conversation with the nutritionist Lydia, Kimani, and we were just looking at some of the few issues about breastfeeding. But this week, again, we are still on that topic, and she is in the house again to talk about breastfeeding again, and she's not alone today. We are also joined by another nutritionist again from Kitale County Hospital. I will just invite them so that they can say hi and introduce themselves, and then we'll just move straight into the topic. Welcome.
Thank you. My name is Lydia Kimani. I work in Trans Nzoia County as a nutritionist, and today I'm glad to be here. We talk about breastfeeding. Thank you.
Thank you so much. My name is Steward Wanyama. I'm a nutritionist at Kitale County Hospital.
Thank you, and I'm so glad to have you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Okay, so let us just go straight away into the importance of breastfeeding. Of course, during the, last week we talked about what is breastfeeding and just what is expected, an overview of that. But let's take a look at the importance of breastfeeding.
Thank you so much.
Thank you so much. Breastfeeding is very important, particularly at this time that we are marking the World Breastfeeding Day. You realize that there are several areas that we need to cover. We have the importance to the baby, we have the importance to the mother, and also the benefits to the whole society, like a nation in whole. So first of all, when we begin with the baby, we realize that this is the best meal for a baby. When a baby is less than 6 months, this is the first food that the baby should be introduced to, and not any other meal. You realize that when you compare breast milk as compared to other milk, for example the cow's milk and the goat's milk, you realize that there is a difference in the composition of the nutrients. You realize that there is what we call the whey protein and what we call the casein protein. Milk from cow has a lot of casein protein, while milk from a human being has whey protein. The difference is whey protein is easily digestible as compared to casein protein. Now when you give a baby a different food, like the milk intended for the cow, you realize that there will be a problem with digestion. Now the baby, the gastrointestinal tract is still developing, is not able to digest the cow's milk. That's why the first thing is about digestion. Now apart from digestion, there is also the antibody issues. You realize that the first milk that mother produces contains a lot of colostrum. Colostrum is good, for example, because when the baby is growing, the baby is developing antibodies which are able to fight infections. So the first milk that the baby takes has a lot of the antibodies which are rich, for example, in vitamin A, which are able to boost the baby's immunity, at least to fight the childhood diseases and also the upper respiratory tract infections. Apart from that, you realize that this meal does not need preparation. The meal is readily available. The baby can take from any time, and the mother can breastfeed the baby without needing to at least prepare. So they can be able to breastfeed at any time. The milk is in the right temperature. The mother does not need to warm it. You see now the baby has developed the mouth, the lips are still developing, so it's not too hot or too cold. so the baby can take it at the right temperature. So you also realize that you don't need to buy it. It means it is cost friendly to the family. So the mother can be able to produce, being maybe in low income or high income, can be able to meet the needs of the baby. Apart from that, it also helps in growth and development. When it comes to growth and development, the key thing we look at is the body system, and also have the development of the mental problem, the ability, the IQ level. You realize that a baby who is breastfed well is able to think properly, is able to do a lot of things by him or herself. So it is very important, it is very key for the development of the baby.
Okay, well, those are some of the importance of breastfeeding to the child. Let's take a look at the importance of breastfeeding to the mother now.
Now, this is a very key area. You realize that most mothers, majorly the teenage mothers, they fear the thing about breastfeeding. They feel like it will affect their body shape, it will affect, you see, like in the market.
Yes.
So you realize that there are some concepts. When you get to understand, you realize that breastfeeding is a good act. You realize that when a mother breastfeeds, the body naturally it goes back to its shape.
Yeah, they lose the baby fat that they gain during pregnancy.
Yeah, there is also a hormone which is called oxytocin, which is produced by the body, which helps in contracting and, for example, now utilization of the excess fats in the body, and also it aids a lot when for example, when a mother has given birth, the bleeding sort, you realize that during breastfeeding it helps a lot to at least cut that breastfeeding, and that's what we normally call the postpartum hemorrhage. So apart from that, you realize also it is cost friendly, as I had said earlier. The mother will not incur another cost to get that breast milk because it comes out naturally. You also realize that it is good also to the family because of the same cost issue. And also we have now the benefit about now the mother's time will be reduced. For example, as the baby's immunity is boosted, you realize that the baby will feel ill less often. Now when the baby feels ill less often, the mother will not spend most of the time visiting the hospital. So we'll have saved a lot of time and a lot of resources, at least, to take the baby to the hospital.
Okay, let's talk about bonding between the baby and the mother. Does breastfeeding has any impact in their relationship, the mother and child?
That is a very key point. You realize that bonding is a very key thing. The moment a mother breastfeeds, they look in the eye. When the baby looks the mother in the eye, and also the mother looks the baby in the eye, you realize that it encourages a lot of bonding. And even the closeness. You realize that during breastfeeding, you usually ensure that at least you reduce the close of the baby. Now the skin to skin effect has to do a lot with bonding. So you realize even in a crowd, when a baby is too small, you'll be able to realize the mother, the difference between two people. You realize that this is my mother. Now bonding is a very key thing. It also helps a lot in the development of the brain of the baby.
Okay, I think we will be able to demonstrate that later when he's talking about how the mother will be looking, they will have an eye contact between the mother and the baby. I think we will be able to demonstrate about that. But I want you to come in, Lydia, and just tell us about how breastfeeding is important to the society at large.
Thank you so much. Breastfeeding is very important to the community. Once the child gets the immunity, she will go to the hospital most of the time.
Yes.
So we don't need so many health workers working on this baby. No, not so much will be spent on this baby. The child will be very bright. So we get a very bright community because they were breastfed well. Remember when we are giving, let's say, the formula milk, sometimes you use the the containers,
Yes.
sometimes they are thrown all over, or the sachets. So the environment and the community will be very clean. And the community will spend this money to do other things, not buying formulas for these children.
Okay.
So once the community needs to support this mother, just to give information and support the mother to do exclusive breastfeeding, and also breastfeed up to 2 years or even 4 years if possible. We talk of 1,000 days, but you can even go up to even 2,000.
Okay, we will come to that.
Yeah, the
and how the
community
community
benefits.
should actually come into the show. We will come to that.
Yes.
But for now, I want us to talk about why do you as nutritionists, why do you as government officials conduct this campaign, the Breastfeeding Week campaign? Why do you do that every year?
Why World Breastfeeding? In fact, it's called World Breastfeeding because it's celebrated worldwide because of the many benefits that it has to the children. It reduces the mortality rate of the children, the number of children that we are losing because of those childhood illnesses, they are reduced. And if you look at this year, for example, the theme for this year is step up for breastfeeding, educate and support. So we leave everything, we step up and support breastfeeding. How? We educate the issues of breastfeeding, and also we support mothers to breastfeed. Not everybody who knows how to breastfeed. I know it's a natural act, but not everybody who knows how to breastfeed. And most of the time we've been having mothers who have problems. They don't know how to hold their babies onto the breast. They don't know how the children should attach to the breast. So they do it wrongly, and in the process they get even problems. Sometimes they get breast problems. Some even stop breastfeeding very early. And these are the causes of malnutrition. So the world, every year, it's an annual event. It reminds the community we need to support women to do exclusive breastfeeding, early initiation of breastfeeding, breastfeed for long, we are saying 2 years and above, because it's something that saves lives. It saves the lives of children. It saves the number of times a child gets sick because the immunity will go high. It saves a lot. And that is why every year the World Health Organization set a whole week. We normally do it every August, but now in Kenya we are doing it early. It set a whole week to remind the mothers, the fathers, the community, the academia, everybody that we need to set this time to remind them of breastfeeding because of the many benefits that has for breastfeeding.
Okay, on that note, we are taking a break. Remember to send in your questions. Our SMS line is just below your screen. You can also do that on our Facebook page, Imani Television. Just send out DM, ask your question, and of course we will be tackling all those questions maybe in this episode or the next. But we're taking a break. When we come back, we will be taking a look at how you should be doing it, so don't go too far.